Progress.
So is our Alf up and running?
Hey, Felix.
We're good. Um,
Who's Bob? You can zoom in and vote.
Has she been?
Right.
Yeah, I think they go like it comes softly, and she seems okay. It says, like we did.
My eyes are all bloodshot from the dust out there.
My eyes have been watering all day long. I just cannot get away from it today.
Allergies.
Oh, severe, and I'm on all sorts of medication for it. It's just not helping these days, at least not today.
Because it's,
Not yet, huh?
Mhm.
If it says council, if you really.
5:30, they're called, Furlong Public Utilities District to order into the flag salute. I pledge allegiance
allegiance
to
to
the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. They check the one chair, I might be okay. It's abandoned me. Roll call. Barry,
I,
Felix. Here. We might be on Zoom, I'm not sure. And UAK's absent and I'm here. Approval of the agenda.
Make motion to approve the agenda.
a second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Carried. Public comment in person or read into the record, not to exceed 3 minutes each on the items not agendized. Each public member wishing to make a statement must fill out a form so the board president can recognize you before you speak. Again, 3-minute limit. We have anything? Nothing in there, okay. Okay, we got minutes. Review and possible action approving the minutes from March 18th, 2025, regular board meeting. You have anything on it, Sherry?
I do not, I read through it.
Felix?
No, I'm good.
Love a motion then?
Make motion to approve the minutes as it is and file.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
I,
Thank you. Financials, review and file preliminary March 2025 financial statements.
So attached is the March check register, the bank account balances, investment spreadsheet, managers. The auditor has been here the last 2 days. And probably will come back for a half a day in the next week to finish up. But everything's going pretty smoothly.
Yeah, they just left. Do you have anything that, on that?
I do not.
Yes.
I'm good. Making a motion to approve financials?
A second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Carrie, thank you.
Lee joined us.
We got fire department updates, information only. Sandy,
Johnny, Lee has joined us.
huh?
Lee has joined us.
Oh, okay.
He's on mute though.
Hi, Lee. Did you, vote on the last? Can you hear me,
Let me take him off mute.
Mr. Harris?
You're on mute.
Mr. Harris?
He's there
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, thank you for joining.
Oh, thank you. You're most certainly.
Okay, fire department updates, information only. Sandy? You want to do that? You want me to read it or
They don't hear.
I can do it if you want. 8 calls in March, 7 medicals, 1 canceled call. That's a history of HPUD fire tax charges. The medical Tuesday will be the same night as the board meeting with LZ training at Janesville Department. California OES is offering strike team leader refresher class on May 1st. And
So I did add, I was looking through, I know, there was quite a few people asking with the rate increase and different things, so I put together this little, summary, and it's also on our website with having the resolution of 2016 and a little about, Measure A tax. And it shows, because actually, the first year that we took over from West Patton Village, we had added an increase with the county at 3%, even though the board had rejected a 3% increase. So the first year we took over, the county had received $140.76, but then the next year we refunded them, gave them credit for that portion when we took over the bills, because it was never okayed by the West Patton Village Board. It was Vivian's proposal, because they've always done it 3%. And so actually, since we took over in 2017, it actually dropped, and then it stayed. It shows the years that we've taken over and that information. Which I thought was kind of interesting for the board.
thank you. Shaw Engineering update. Sir, thank you.
So the screw press project, the design has finished up and we advertised bids this morning. It'll be open until May 27th, which is the date of the next board meeting, in which we will open bids and evaluate them, and we'll get an idea of what this thing's actually going to cost, and we'll start construction shortly.
Did, any tariffs increase?
So we'll find out on May 27th.
May 27th.
Yeah, so right now it's just advertised so everyone can see it, and then we'll receive all the bids on the 27th, open them up, and at that time we'll get a better idea.
But there was no increase on buying the machine.
The machine, purchasing the machine is a part of the construction contract, so yeah, that would be included in there. In that bid.
This is a copy. Advertisement for the bid. Yeah, it's
Right.
an email, so I've got
It's
it.
in front of you there, the advertisement for the bid, Felix. That little piece where, yeah, that's it.
And then Barbara was nice and enlarged it on page 2, so you can read. For the first one, it's just the email about the Lawson plans.
Thank you.
Owen had
Thank you,
submitted.
Barbara.
So, yeah,
I need larger print.
She has eyes that are like pin your head, so she could read it, I couldn't.
Excuses, excuses.
Not go there on age. I couldn't even read it in the email. So, I mean, come on now.
So basically, we'll find out on 27th if they, we're in line or they want to bid too high.
Yeah.
if we want to accept a bid or whether we want to reject them
Right.
all and
Right,
wait for grant monies.
Correct, yeah.
like we've done before.
Unfortunately, yes.
Yeah. Thank you, Owen.
Yeah.
Appreciate it. Thanks for coming out and hanging with us all.
Well,
My pleasure.
yeah, Owen's got the next one too.
Review for request for proposals and possible action on Shaw Engineering's contract for elevated tank recoat. Possible action on Shaw Engineering contract.
So I believe part of the budget was to go ahead and do the elevated tank. I just pushed things over to Owen to get all that started. This is just kind of more retroactive, getting your approval of Owen's contract for the elevated tank.
Yeah, so Sandy's done an excellent job. She's been talking to a gentleman by the name of Coleman with Superior Tank Solutions. They're a tank construction and coating contractor. So in order to formalize a public utility district, we have to advertise bids just like we're doing with the screw press. And so this contract will cover putting together the contract documents, technical specifications, everything required to bid the project in a legal fashion. Oversight and I believe the first task on there is a exterior coating condition assessment. So
Any questions, or Mr. Harris?
No, sir, I don't. Thank you.
Jerry?
No,
Felix?
No,
Thank you again, sir.
I just need approval of his contract.
Okay. Somebody want to make a motion
I'll make a motion to approve the contract as is
for Shaw
for
Engineering?
Shaw Engineering.
second,
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. No names? Lee, are you a yes or a no?
Well, I can vote yes.
Yeah, okay. Yes, all right. Four yeses. All right.
really appreciate it.
Thank you very much. Written correspondence and PowerPoint for SDRMA Safety Day on understanding board members and district liability issues,
Five
information.
past 23:30.
Huh?
Yeah. You skipped.
Oh, I'm sorry,
Yeah,
I'm
you
sorry.
skipped.
I'm sorry. One too fast. Review and possible action on policy 2030.6 incentive pay, review and possible action. Okay. Sorry about that.
The board asked this to be brought back, and then Sherry asked because she wasn't here during that time for me to put in the information from past board meetings, so she could review that along with any other board member that would like to do that with this. So there's my review scoring and the board minutes showing being tabled or
Yeah. Policy 3330.6 is brought back to the board to review incentive pay for 2023-24. Incentive pay is available for all employees, including the general manager, at a rate of 1 to 5% of their annual salary. This is not a raise in a once a year bonus for doing a good job in completing goals set by the general manager of the board. Mr. Harris, you have something to say on this?
No, I don't.
Sherry?
So the reason why I wanted to readdress this, because my understanding it was tabled so many times. And the fact that one staff member at his level of evaluation at 4.2 was given 5%. And there's no set standard as to how anybody is going to get any incentives. And I'd like to make sure that this is actually set in motion at some point sooner than later, because it's been tabled and then, nothing's actually transpired. So basically, what do we as the board want to do? Do we want to put a set standard into policy for them to effectively have a general, incentive across the board for every single employee, including our general manager, and not be voidant of, their duties? Because I believe they should have incentive. I know COLA is fine, but cost of living is great, but what do we do for the employees for all the hard work that they do? And that's where my concern lies, and I'd like to actually put this into policy, make the effective changes, and also, if possible, retroactive for hers, as well as give her whatever incentive that we can possibly come to a vote on for future. Because it was never done. That's why I wanted to bring all of this back.
Thank you. Felix?
Well, I'm worried about what's happening right now. Okay? Possibilities gonna be inflation, gonna be a recession, okay? And it hasn't stopped. We can't put something in the book if we don't know what's gonna happen. This is a business. I worked for 30 years. When I signed that contract with the government, I did the job. That's what I was hired to do, to get the job done. To be giving money away, we can't afford it. We raised the facility pay to our seniors. If you get hired for a job, you complete the job. You don't say, well, I work hard today, give me some more money. And that's basically what it is. That's what I have to say.
Thank you. Well, I look at it a little differently, being how I had a wife for 20 some odd years, worked for the government. And many times she went above and beyond, and she got lots of incentives, and she got a lot of cash for it throughout the years. She got like seven different times, and about a third of the time she was here, she got extra bonuses. Because of things ideas and stuff that she did are above and beyond the job that her regular job was. And that's why I feel in this instance that our general manager went above and beyond to complete the 12 to 14 million dollars, whatever it was, for our water, sewer, and all the streets and all the cement and everything that was put out there. And it was successful. And it was an extremely lot of work, extra work. It's above and beyond her normal scope by getting these projects done. And with that, I feel that she should be recognized, just like Royce was already was recognized for it previously. And so I feel that our general manager should be recognized also.
Okay, I think what I'm trying to get across, it shouldn't, it's mandatory every year. It has to be evaluated. If next year if it happens what they're predicting, okay, we might have no money because everything is going up. Everything is gonna go up. So we're gonna put it down in the book and we might say, wow, we need this for another project, but you put it down in the book. It should be done yearly basis, okay? And yes, I work for the government. The government has unlimited funds. We do not.
We have two things. We talked about doing a workshop on incentive pay or wellness pay or longevity pay, which I think the next board meeting, we do have the bid opening now, but it'll be very small on the thing. So we could do a section on, like Felix is saying, to relook at each one of those or to come up with something next year. Or for the future and keep it in a policy like Mrs. Kessler is saying. And then, so you've got two things we're talking about, redoing or adding something to put in place or giving a raise from 23's project or 24's for the GM. So there's two different, not a raise, sorry, a bonus. So if you would like, I can bring the structure part back for for the policy for next board meeting,
For our future.
Well,
for the future.
well, I got, which I don't have a problem. My understanding, you guys, we were gonna vote it on here, this meeting, to give Sandy the incentive that we feel she deserves.
That
So
was
if we
part of
address
it,
that, I don't
yeah.
have a problem. But all these other incentives you just mentioned, I believe that that's the people's money. You get paid for a day's pay. That's the way I grew up.
So should we do that in a workshop? Should that be addressed?
Yeah, but hers will get it done, that one part that you brought up.
Right,
I don't have a problem with that.
okay.
But to start putting policy, mandatory incentives for whatever you guys are gonna use the incentives for, we have to worry about the people we work for. Okay? And that's my concern. If we're gonna give money away, reduce down the facility charges. These people make good money. They're not gonna go anywhere. Most of them are not going anywhere, and I'm gonna tell you why. Because you can't afford to go to Reno, you can't go to the Bay Area. They wouldn't survive. You know? So this thing that they might run away and go find a job, I can guarantee you in the next 5 years, nobody's going no place.
Unfortunately, within the last 6 months, 8 months, we've had 2 employees leave. Which is sad.
For more money.
So.
Locally, in
each
what is it?
Locally.
What's that one? Not Portola. Loyalton? Is it Loyalton? They're always going through uppers, like the last guy. He came and he went back.
He's still there and they're paying him a lot more than we can afford. Cause I tried to get him back here 6 months ago and I would have had to pay him more than I'm paying Royce, and that's not fair.
Well, I can understand. I mean, somebody can pay, you're gonna go. But how many small towns that our environment can't afford that?
The problem is the operators are, you know, like I was saying earlier today, I said, you know, when I went to school, everybody said, go to college, go to college. Now we're out tradesmen. We need tradesmen, whether that's
Yeah.
a plumber or an electrician or a water or wastewater operator, that's what we need.
Well, that's how it
And
goes.
it's too easy for these kids. They're making more money than attorneys and doctors just on their computer all day, you know, making apps and doing stuff. So it's really hard to be competitive.
Yeah.
So it was just the thoughts of a policy in place so that our employees that are here to keep them, you know, was a plus, and hopefully a motivation. I mean, it's like years ago when we were trying to keep a GM, we put in a health savings plan. We tried to do a 401k before we got on CalPERS. I'm trying to keep a general manager here or to entertain a general manager to come to this area. So it's just another tool to try to help bring people to our area.
Do you think we should, just us should determine for the reason you gave? Don't you think we should notify the community that we're gonna start raising more monies to the employees?
We're not raising more money for the employees. It's no different than when you worked out on depot. You got a bonus for a good job every year. Or, you know, it's no different than in longevity. Most districts have longevity pay. And that's where I put in here one I'd swipe from another district, but I guess that's in my GM report, but it just, you know, something, so there, basically this part here is just talking about the past incentive pay, and then we can next board meeting actually have the same discussion, but enlarge it to yes or no, or policy or not a policy, you know, whether we keep the incentive pay or we take this line item off for the future and add a longevity, or don't add anything, or, you know, review it each year. It's just something, that's why I was thinking that it's very hard, Felix. Every year, this board we spend 3 board meetings talking about incentive pay. And that's why I'm thinking, okay, well, let's do something that's set in bold, that, hey, you know, like Sherry at Circo, they've got, if you get a 4.0 or 1, you get a certain percent. You get a 1%, you get A 1, you get 0. If you get a 2 to 3, you know, I'm just throwing numbers out there, Sherry, I know they're not exactly right, but you know what I mean? So it's something that's
basically-
standard that people know what to expect. Or longevity, if you're here for 5 years, you get $500. If you're here for 10 years, you know, you get 1,000. Just something to keep people thinking that, you know, hey, we're appreciative for the longer we stay.
So is that the same thing as you're talking about bonuses?
Right, just trying to give people incentive to stay on, you know,
And that was mainly what my thought process was, just based on how we conduct business where we are.
Right.
Now, obviously, we're government, yes, but we're not federal government in that respect, and I respect what you're saying as far as the base. But for like somebody like me who's been with the company 15 years, okay, I get a bonus based off of our percentages of increase in income every year. It's not guaranteed, that's the thing. I mean, we can always write in the language that it's not guaranteed. I get my incentive pay for being an employee based on my evaluations, which is ranked from 1 to 5, which I saw in the current evaluation that we have here. And based off of that, the average is what I get an increase. So like this last year, my average was 4.86, so I got a 4.86 increase in my pay for incentive. That's all I'm merely trying to put down in writing. It's not necessarily that it's mandatory, but in order to get people to work here and stay here, we should have something in play that we can either negotiate, not necessarily mandatory, but at least we can negotiate and have these people stay and hopefully stay permanently and longer than what we're experiencing right now. And because it's been tabled so often, that's why I wanted to see what we could find out more about and possibly put permanently in our handbook and policies that we can give these people that incentive. Please stay with us. Hey, we've got a bonus coming because we did an exponential amount of income this year. You know, we can offer these things to have people stay. That's my focus.
Yeah, and President, yeah, I think I like what Sandy was saying is doing like a workshop. So that
Right.
you can all sit down and really figure it out, and then you guys, you know, I think that would be a great,
Right.
yeah.
And we did discuss that last month, but we didn't have a special meeting for it. So-
no, I'm thinking, you know, with the holiday coming up and stuff, that maybe. I know we've got the bid opening, which will take a little bit of time, but we don't have a lot on May's agenda right at the moment, so it might be something that we spend, you know, 30 minutes of our next board meeting on that item, or,
So you're talking around the 27th,
yeah.
okay.
Instead of trying to, you know.
You're not gonna be here, Felix?
No, I'm leaving the beginning of the month, I won't be back till then,
Oh, you'll be back by then?
yeah.
President Everett, I don't think you've included,
I asked him, and he had nothing to say to
oh,
start.
you did? Oh,
Right.
I thought it
But
was
we'll get
something
back,
else.
we'll get back to Mr. Harris.
And
in a
one thing,
minute.
when we have the workshop, can you put the parameters in? By having the discussion we're gonna do, the possible cost that we can look at, so we can look at numbers. See, I'm a number guy.
Well, no, I've got the cost of what it's cost us for the last 12 years since we've had incentive pay.
Since it's public record, what was the job offer amount of money that 2 of our people left? Now you got me curious. See, I didn't even know anybody left.
Yeah,
I mean, it
is
wasn't,
it okay to
when did
say
they leave?
left?
When did they just left?
No, Ken Bennett wouldn't come here for less than $32 an hour.
Oh,
And now who's that young, is it that young
Yeah.
Texan guy?
No, that was the
He's the
loyalty
one
guy.
from Loyalton.
He's.
Okay, that one I remember.
The other gentleman, Toby, the county offered him a job. And I think we were paying him like 25, and they offered him at 28, and he didn't even have to have any certificates. And he had a wastewater certificate when he came here, but we were asking him to get water certificates, and the county didn't even have. So he didn't even have to do anything else to get any more raises, and he was already getting more with better benefits from the county. So
Where did you live at? Susanville?
Janesville.
Janesville?
So Susanville's a little closer, plus you
Yeah,
got
that-
$3 an hour more.
Yeah.
Better benefits, so.
locally, they're gonna, as soon as you train them, they're gonna come after them. But you try to bring in somebody from the cities, they ain't gonna come.
No, and that's why, that we do have a young man that interned with us last summer and kind of stayed on through the winter as a part-time job, and he's graduating here in May.
Wow,
So he might be, he's from Doyle, might be the perfect person to step up and start training and possibly send to California Rural Water, classes and go forward, because he already knows this, he's told Royce, this is what he wants to do.
say I'm still into it, I'll say it forever. Why aren't we recruiting our kids? We got kids in the high school,
Well,
they should have that first opportunity.
They don't want to be here.
Yeah.
How do you know they don't wanna be here?
Because I've been there, it's like I've told you, I've talked to them for several years, so, Royce and I still have a conversation about if Owen is gonna stay or what's gonna happen there, whether we put out for an intern or we keep her where we're at this year, so we need to look at everything, and we'll have a staff meeting on Monday to kind of look at what we've got to do for the summer and what we're gonna need. And yes, the Curlong High School, we will be the first place that we look for somebody if it's just a summer job. And, Kim Dieter's always the first person I call to see if she recommends anybody or puts anybody out there.
How can we go to the principal? Who was the last principal that just left? My next door neighbor.
Oh, yeah,
Oh.
we've gone to
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I talked to Young and he said he didn't even know about that you were doing. I'm just saying what the man told me, okay? What I would like to see is that you put out notification and see if people want to do like an application. Okay, that type of thing.
Well,
I just can't believe that these young men here, as tough as it is to earn money around here, would have, but I grew up different. Money was an important thing. So anyway, I'm gonna say it, I'll keep saying it. I think that should be our number one priority.
Well, the first year, when I became GM, we had two students, one from Susanville, one from here. And, Trish and I had talked to the school. In fact, and I'll say it again, there was a young man that had already started taking fire classes, and I tried to get him on the volunteer fire department and told him we'd take more classes. And then the gentlemen, we talked to three of them. And one turned in an application, and the one person who turned in the application, and within a month of working for us, left. And so all we had was the one kid from Susanville that year, because the person from Hurlong didn't even stick it out.
I think the problem is, Felix, is there is not an incentive for a young man and women to stick around after they graduate or even during high school. Because let's face it, there's nothing here.
Well, I agree with that.
Yeah, there's nothing here. It's not like back in the day when I was growing up here, you had a theater, you had the pool, you had this and that. Kids were even putting in for lifeguards at the pool. Mr. Harris's daughter worked one summer at the pool. So that's the problem. There's not enough things for these kids. And that's why a lot of them get in trouble. Because there's nothing to do.
On a personal note here. Carl and I's grandson, last year interned here for a little while. And Chase went to high school here. He went to school here, and he came in one day and he says to me, "Grandma, I can't stay here." And I said to him, "Why?" He said, "Because the good kids have all left and gone somewhere else to get a job. And the ones that have stayed, that were my friends, I can't associate with, because my grandma told me you run with the outlaws, you hang with the outlaws."
Well, I have to agree with you.
And he said he did not want to get into trouble. And if he stayed in this area, there weren't a lot of good people he could connect with.
My understanding, that's what's happening right now. That's all the vandalism, all that stuff is going on.
This was this last summer. He left in August? July,
Of 2020,
this past year, yeah. I mean, and that was now. And again, he could get a job, for a lot more than we could afford to pay him through the district.
Let's go point of order, just get back to what we're doing here, and thank you, everybody, for your input, it was good. Mr. Harris, do you have something to say now? Mr.
No,
Harris?
I don't. No, I don't. You all said enough.
Okay.
You know, it's a mouthful.
So, I have a motion for
Sandy,
for general manager, for the pay from when she did the extra contract and stuff for the city.
what is the percentage? We're gonna, the same as
I'm asking
the,
if you guys have if somebody makes a motion, then we'll know what what their motion is for the percentage, and then we can discuss it.
well, that's what I mean. Okay, I have a question before the motion comes up. What did we pay the employees?
5%.
5%? I thought it was 3%. No, it was 5%. Okay with me. Across the board, everybody's the same.
Make the motion.
I'll make a motion in regard to general manager's incentive to retro, if we can retro, I don't know, we were gonna discuss that part. That she does get her increase.
No, it's,
Incentive.
let me stop. It's not
Incentive,
an
sorry.
incentive, one time,
Incentive one time.
Right.
Sorry.
no problem. Do I have a second?
Yeah.
I second.
Well, we still have a discussion. I want to clarify one thing.
But
Yeah, you're still open for discussion, Felix, you have
Okay.
something to say?
You mentioned that we don't know if we were gonna give her back pay. Okay, that, now, you put it as, we don't know what we're gonna do. So we can't move on it because we're not voting on it.
I
So,
realize
and he
that.
just seconded it.
I know.
So she's gonna miss out now. She'll start it from,
So you can reword or.
Let me
Let's-
reword it.
We will
please.
reword it and go for a first and a second.
oh, that's what I was trying to get across.
I know, that's what I'm trying to say.
Okay.
Oh, my goodness, okay. So, yes, I'll make the motion to, sorry,
Give the general manager 5%.
give the general manager a 5% incentive for the 2023 works that she did
Which was completed,
for the completed jobs, yeah. Sorry, you have to bear with me, I've had
Yeah,
a really
it's
horrendous last 2
That's
weeks,
It's a
okay.
learning experience.
so.
Trust me.
Okay. We have a motion. Do I have a second? Mr. Harris?
I second.
Okay. Felix?
I'm gonna go with it. Yes,
Okay, yes. Okay, we have a vote on it now. All in favor?
Hi,
aye.
I
I
pass 4-0. Thank you. Okay. Thank you guys for,
So,
it only took a year or so to do it, but hey, it's done.
we're gonna do it.
Okay, now I will go to what I started to go to, what I missed this one. Written correspondence and PowerPoint from SDRMA Safety Day. And understanding the board member and the district liability issues, information only is Sandy, Sherry, Felix, you guys all went, so.
So the letter is just the letters that having to do with AB 259 and SB 496, which is in support of special districts. And then I put in there, Supervisor Ingram, got us our food pantry, at least through, Salvation Army for right now, and those dates are in there. And then, this was one of several, and I know Felix attended this one. Felix, did you take anything out of that, this board member district liability issue? I know Sherry was taking the government seat at that time.
Yeah, actually, there's new laws that came out in 2025. Have you notified our employees about if somebody puts in, I call it an information list, they call it FOIA, I think they call it now. And they put it on media and they talk about it. Okay, whatever they're doing. That means they have right, the person who wants the information can address them and say, I want all your information. And they get to look at the personal phone. Did you know that?
Yeah.
Okay, so you better, the guys, so they do something in there to talk about what they're doing during the work day. And it's not their job, they're on the media. And somebody says, they said, I'm paying these people, that's part of my money,
Right,
then we're all gonna get in trouble.
right,
Okay, I just wanted to make sure we emphasize that.
yeah.
And then I met another district guy, says he's known you since 24. And you got hired in 24, didn't you?
2024? No,
2004, yeah, 2004.
Thought you said 2024.
Oh,
I was gonna say, wait a minute,
Oh,
you've been here
it'll
a
be 20
long.
years this year, so it's 2005 that you hired me.
yeah. Said he knew you, for quite a while. And then we started talking about the law and stuff, so, but it was curious. But actually, it was a good, I've learned a lot about it, about, the possibilities of, if we're not keeping up to the laws, we could put the district in jeopardy,
Yeah.
and then they also talked about, if I'm not mistaken, the proper use of the district money. You can do certain things, but you can't do certain things. And I think, they kind of just briefed over it. I would like to see the new laws, what we can move that money for. We just can't say, hey, let's make a motion and do something with it, Like, but in reality, we can't even have a barbecue with people's money. That's against the law. That money is only for one reason, is the empire. Now, she was using different examples, okay? It's only if it's for HPUD's business, and that's it. We're not paid to be social people and give their money, to do those type of fundraising. And the reason I say it, because she was really, you got people who say, you're taking my money and you're doing this. If you're gonna charge me because you need to run the establishment.
Right.
And they kept emphasizing that. So we gotta make sure with all these new workshops that we're gonna have, that we can do that. Because it isn't in I call it the contract, because I was union.
Right.
Their employee contract, there is no mention in that. None at all. But we've been making motions to give them extra money. It's not in their contract, is it?
Whose contract?
Employees' contract.
It's part of our policy, which our policies are governing law.
Yeah, okay, I understand a policy is different from contract. They signed an employee contract, but these are your benefits and this is what you're gonna earn.
Which our policy, with like the incentive pay and all that as part of their policy binder, which they receive when they, get hired.
Get in it.
Yeah.
Because I have never read the contract.
They don't have a contract, it's a policy. It's a
Okay,
policy. But just like.
Okay,
The
the
whole policy binder, and there's one section that's pretty much to employees. There's a little section for board members, and then there's 2 to 3 sections that are, how to run the district and how we should run the district, run meetings, run.
okay. That's about it. But if we would get that new laws and stuff, I sure would like to read them.
Was that, an SDRMA person, or was it the attorney that was?
The attorney, she got my ear quick.
Okay.
Oh, I don't know if you wanted to hear from me or not. So, yeah, I went to the Governance Foundation. I found it really interesting, learning about, basically how to govern and the laws surrounding our rules and regulations. Is the right binder? Yeah, so it was Hillary Strauss. He's from the Citrus Heights Water District. Biggest things that they were focusing on is basically our individual attitudes, what we are as a board and our responsibilities, which, we set the direction, we establish the structure, we provide the support, we ensure the accountability, and we act as the community leaders, which are the most important factors of what we do. Not a really whole lot to touch on. That's basically the summarization that they gave us. But basically that we focus on collecting the results. We hold one another accountable. We're committed to everything that we do. We engage in any conflicts and we trust one another to do what we are supposed to do as a board. And we basically have them do their jobs. So if we don't function as a board, then they can't do their jobs. So it's important that we as a board come together and make sure that we're committed and do the right things for the district as well as for the employees. So.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Sandy, do you have something to add to it? Mr. Harris, do you have any questions?
No, I don't. Thank you, sir.
We don't have to do anything with this, so. If there's no, did you have a question?
Oh, no.
Okay, I seen your hand go.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, let's, number 13, review current HPD. One Public District, Utility District's attorney contract review and possible actions on current attorney. And it was, just brought up where we can look and see what's going on with what's being done. If there's it's a man, I seen him on the Zoom once. And have you ever met him, Felix?
No,
Anybody? Has anybody ever met the
Is
new
this
attorney?
through Elishire and Winder? That's who you're talking about, the
Yeah.
current attorney? I've never met the person.
I've
He's-
only seen him on.
yeah, he zooms,
Yeah. just on-
which looks like this bill that's trying to go through that you can do everything Zoom.
Yeah. But it's sort of nice. If you hire somebody and you're gonna pay them $350 an hour. I would think that they should come and at least see our facility and see what we're doing, what we're actually about, as each one's operating different, and all these different attorneys, they have different things that they do, different settings. Some might do like the utility district kind of test, and it could be something else. They might do 5 or 6 different things, but to come here and meet the general manager, meet our board, meet the employees, see what our sewer plant looks like, see what our water system is, in that way we feel like, I sort of feel like personally, you get to know somebody a little bit by meeting them. And I just thought it was sort of important if somebody was to meet the person here. We have this young man here, his predecessor, we knew him real well. Now we know Owen, he shows up, but he meets us in person, he sees what's going on. Of course, his job's differently than the attorney, granted, but still, if you're gonna be representing us and understanding us, it seems like you should be just a little hands-on. I don't know, that's just my perspective on it. And then I look at it, he gets $350 an hour. And in July, it'll automatically go up. And his rating isn't like from, our old attorney was in Truckee. So the Northern District or whether Eastern District, or whatever it is, versus Southern California fees is a lot different. So it costs more for us to have a person from way down south, which would be nice if they're closer, maybe, I don't know. Or if the person was more mobile to come and see us. You don't have to come, to our meetings and everything unless we had something major going on. But it'd just be nice to have, I don't know, I feel like hands-on. I don't want to talk to my doctor all the time on Zoom. I want to go see my doctor. I want to be able to feel the person that's dealing with my prescriptions and stuff, you know? I don't know, maybe I'm just old, okay, and that's the way I feel, but I just feel like if you're going to charge somebody $350 an hour and get a raise soon, and we've never physically met you, you know, I don't know, I just not comfortable with it.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Is he on a contract? Is there a certain time that you guys can switch?
I'm not seeing that there's how long it is, it's just continuously, as long as we want to keep him, and annually he'll do his COLA raises.
Well, and I do remember coming to some of the meetings that the other, he was here. I met him. And so he did come out. And so I was able to meet him at the meetings that I did come to. This gentleman, I don't see hide nor hair of him. So, yeah, and for $350 an hour, ooh, and John's right, Southern California, that's way down there, and then with the cost of gas, and so that's another thing, are we, because I'm part of this, are gonna be paying him for gas expenses to come up here, or is that,
Yeah.
Yes.
wow,
And he wouldn't drive you for that.
yeah, see, so I
He
don't
was
know.
gonna drive, but that was, Felix, you asked me last month whether I liked him or had any problems with him. On a whole, he's answered my questions. I can tell you this last week, I was almost as disappointed as him not showing up. Because when he came to me after you guys asked for him to be here, and like 24 hours before he's supposed to be here, says, oh, my wife, I can't leave my wife and my kid without a car, without air conditioning. So I'm not gonna come. I hope the board will accept me Zooming. I'm sorry, when the board was paying $350 an hour for him and willing to pay for his transportation up here so you guys could meet him, he should have leased a car or rented a car for 24 hours.
That's right.
I'm sorry. That was, to me, very unprofessional. Now, last week, I was having a conflict because, like Owen had brought up, there's been a salesman, a young man, Coleman, that's from Superior Tank, that's been working with me with the elevated tank. He even has, double checked that we need to have the elevated tank, redone. Put together the proposal that's in here, with Owen stuff. But, so I sent over a note to him, to the attorney, saying, hey, is this a conflict? What's going on? All of our projects have always been grants. This is us using our own capital money. So do we have to always take the lower bid? Can we take the most responsible bidder, even if it's a little bit more?
Question.
So I turned around and he gave me a one sentence answer. And at the same time, I said, and by the way, the board has been working on a rate study. Can you help me with a Prop 218? So it gives me one sentence that says, this is what I found so far, but give me till tomorrow to get that answer to you, which, okay, I'm good with that. And then the response to the rate part was, I'm not a rate setter. I don't do Prop 218. So I quickly responded with, hey, Mike, I'm not expecting you to be a rate setter. I just, as being our attorney, I would like you to approve our letters or postcards going out to our customers, letting them know so that I have the proper verbiage and what's going on is correct. I have yet to hear back from him. He hasn't, that was Wednesday of last week. I have not got the full explanation on my question, from Owen and myself on that. And he's not responded to me that, oh, hey, yeah, I don't have a problem. I mean, his response again, in my professional opinion, should have been, hey, Sandy, Mrs. Raffleson, I will look that up and I'll get back to you, or I'll have one of my partners, because they have, 5 offices or more. And this isn't my expertise, and I will run it across one of my partners and I'll get you that information. I've been ghosted.
Understood.
Expired.
We're even a paralegal.
That itself, he's got to go. I mean,
Mhm.
you know,
'Cause even
Everybody
paralegal
have their own
fees are
opinions, but
quite
we
expensive
hired
and
him.
cheaper,
I agree.
You know,
We hired him to take care legally. That's all we're saying. That was his job, legally. That if we're in doubt, we don't have that big education. But we use a lot of common sense to get things done. So I was gonna say it the Army way, but I'm not. I think because of what you just said, Sandy, I think we should look for somebody else.
Well, and I mean, I have two attorneys that, with FireNet Lassen, I still work with Steve Gross. And with SDR May, I work with Ann, from BB&K. And so a lot of times I reached out to both of them. So Friday afternoon on my own time and his own time, Mr. Gross called me back, spent 2 hours with me on the phone and explaining to me the government codes and everything that I needed for answer the question so that I could talk intelligently to not only Ellen, but this board and be able to go ahead with our elevated tank. And it was a freebie just because I work with him with other boards.
Well, I've had him since we
And he knows us.
started this thing.
So I will say I have urgency because he knows us, but I'm just saying it was very generous of him to give me his time and answer questions that I couldn't get from our own attorney.
Are you on a small time limit too to get out the proposition? Was it 218 you just said?
Another thing that he brought up with 218, we have a 45-day notice and then we have a hearing. He said there's a new intricate piece that goes to Prop 218. We can do like we did 10 years ago and 20 years ago, like sending out, doing a hearing in 45 days. If less than 51% of the people don't respond, then the board at that point can okay those rates and vote to approve those rates and put them in place. The thing that Steve said to me is now what they're suggesting so that it's in clear conscious is, and last time I think we had 3 people respond. When we upped the rates in 2019, of course, they didn't go into place until 2023, but they were up then. He said that you can actually, after the hearing, give an additional 45 days, so you're actually over giving the community 45 days, and you can personally answer one of those responses. You know, if you, any negative response, you can answer them responsibly. And so that hopefully that helps the person who has a negative feeling about it. I mean, if we have 200 letters, it might be a little much, but to do, but if we get like we usually do and only get a handful or a dozen people, how nice would that be for our community to get a personal letter or a letter from us saying, hey, these are the reasons we're having to do this, and explaining to them why we're doing it. So that was information that I got for free.
Was he our last,
Yes.
yeah, he was. That's the one that I.
He's been with us since the beginning, right? He has.
He only upped his rates twice, so.
Is he from Lassen? Is he from?
He's from Truckee.
Oh, so he's, okay.
First time.
So he's a lot closer than.
Well, that's one perspective, you know, because the other guy, I think was in what, Fresno or something?
He is in Fresno.
Okay, so it's
Our
like,
current attorney is in.
so it's
Fresno.
6 hours up, 6 hours back, time here versus 4 hours and whatever time here, so it's probably be 1/3 the cost to have an attorney in our area
Yeah.
than what we have now. And with the good responses that which Mr. Gross has always given all of us, if we ever asked in the past, I don't even know if he's interested or not, but if we put the bid out there and he bid on it, it'd be, I'd be in favor of entertaining what he would have to say, or what his rates would be, of course, within reason, of course.
Hey, Daddy, just know if you put it. It just wants to know if you put any in your fries before you cook them. Is that what you asking? Sorry, just a quick question. How do we move? My bad. Get out. I apologize. I didn't realize you were still.
Okay.
Who was that?
His daughter talking to him about dinner. That's what it sounds like.
Yes.
So this conversation here is, I guess the intent was,
Review.
you brought up some facts, but the bottom line, and Sandy brought up some facts. But you're asking us then to support to go out and find a new lawyer. Because you're telling us the lawyer we have now, your disagreement with him, right?
Well, if you answered the questions and stuff, it'd be different, Felix, you know?
What question?
The two questions that were just asked that Stephen Gross had to end up answering for us. See, because if you, like she said, all the time we had grants, so you had to pick the lowest bidder, okay? When you have your own money, the question was, do we still have to take the lowest bidder? Or can we pick somebody that has the best references and a decent fee, okay? And if you can't answer that question for us legally to know where we stand, you know, what are you doing for us?
But Everett, to me, it's a conflict of interest already. You don't even know if he's wants the job. You're suggesting he.
No, I said, I don't know if he
May I
wants the
finish?
job. I'm saying that if we aren't happy with what we have, we need to put it out there to see if we can find somebody that's
And that's fine,
interested.
it's called dealing generalities.
Right,
Sandy said, our lawyer is Ghoster. That's a statement of fact.
right.
That's what you can do. But you sit here and basically, I've already said, this is the best guy for us. He's a nice guy.
No, that's not what.
That's the part I
That's not what I was saying.
No, I did not
Yeah, no,
understand
that's-
that. No, he wanted to bring this to the table to entertain the facts of this current attorney's charging us up
And I
the
agree with it.
wazoo, basically.
Right.
And because she had to go outside of our normal attorney to get the answers she was looking for, might be benefiting that we
Right.
discuss that,
And-
we look for another attorney.
Right.
That's what I got from
Okay.
this.
But he just said we need a new attorney. Our old attorney is, he may put in for the job.
Maybe.
That should have been it.
Yeah.
No encouragement to this and he's closed and all. That's not the issue.
Right.
The issue is, he wants to know, let's get rid of this lawyer, which I agree, because he ghosted her.
Right,
And this is very important, the laws.
exactly.
So all it should have been is, let's put out a bid and see who applies for it. That should be it.
That's what I
we
said.
want to do.
That's exactly what I said. I said, I don't know if he's interested or not. But he was our old attorney. I don't know if he's interested. Until you put a bid out there, you don't know. We might get somebody from Susandale that knows.
I'm not gonna argue with it. That's the way I feel. Okay,
So do you we need a motion then to end
Yeah.
the contract with the gentleman we have?
Oh, actually, according to here in number 14, that we can discharge A&W at any time with or without
Oh,
notice, with
okay,
no
good.
right to hearing or notice.
It's good.
What, don't we need a motion to?
I'm just letting you know what I'm
Right.
reading here.
well, since you, as a general manager, isn't that part of your responsibilities? I'll say it that way. Responsibility, you said, hey, this guy goes to me. All you had to say, I think we ought to get rid of him. Let's put out a bid. That's what I would like to hear.
Yeah,
But
I
can
think-
you do it without us as a motion? I think,
Well, he works for the board.
Yeah.
He
Okay.
works for us.
He works for us,
So we
okay.
have to ultimately.
So that's why you guys are
Okay.
It's our
discussing it.
decision as a board.
okay,
Yeah.
that's what I want to know.
Right,
So we
no,
do
it's
it
our-
legally.
It's our decision as a board, whether we keep this person or look for somebody else.
I agree with that.
Make the motion.
I'll make the motion.
Okay, well, I want to see what, Mr. Harris, if he has something to say.
Let me take him off mute.
Mr. Harris, do you have input on this, do you have input on this attorney situation?
Yes, I heard everything I need to hear. I think we need to make a motion.
Okay,
So I'll make the motion that we put a bid out for a new attorney and release this one at this point, based off of the facts.
Second,
second, I have a question. If we're going to put out for a bid for a new attorney, and do you keep the old attorney until you actually have a new bid? I mean,
We-
because
Is
we don't
he
wanna be
going
without an
to-
attorney, do we?
Represent us?
Huh?
I mean, it's obviously, he's not representing us at this
Right,
point
I'm just,
either.
I'm just trying to clarify.
Yeah,
Do we
Good-
send a letter
good question.
to him and say he's fired now, or do we
No,
wait till we get somebody
That's true.
new?
When that something
So
happens,
other,
We don't have a
words,
lawyer,
y'all
right?
need to make sure that we're. covered.
right, and I see your
Yeah.
point, yes,
Yeah.
I
Let
do
me
see your.
contact Ann from BB&K, which is SDRMA's attorney, and see if we have to, I mean, I hate to go through the whole RFP process again, because that was a long drawn out affair. See if we can either put something in the CSDA thing and advertise on our website that we're looking for a new attorney, or what legally we can do, because Ann can ask.
oh, is it mandatory to put it in public places for a certain amount of time
That's exactly.
and so long to do the thing?
Yes,
Okay,
Let me ask Ann about that.
Okay, I got
And I'd
one.
like to have one sooner than later. And I don't want
I have
to do that
one. Can we, does this board have the authority to say, find a lawyer to represent us without a contract by hourly only in case of emergency? Or can we go to SDRMA if we need
We do have some with our workers' comp and property liability, we do have some attorney time, but it's only like, I want to say it's an hour monthly or something that's available to us, and it has to be like on a work comp case or a, property liability case. It can't be as vague as we're talking right now,
Okay,
so.
but then I guess the other question is, can we put somebody on as temporary to be our representative or our legal advice? Until it gets out there and,
Yeah.
because that's a big concern. Because you sell them thing and say you're gonna do this, he may say, well, you don't wanna quit. Which most people do.
Right.
yeah,
His expertise, the prison attorney, his expertise was litigation. But I wish that, he said that he had done a lot of litigation with CCC in High Desert with the prisons there, and that he knew this area because he'd been here doing litigation. But I know a lot of people in that firm are very much special districts, but I don't think he's got. The one that applied for the job doesn't have the special district background, and maybe that's what he was trying to get by being our attorney, was to develop his skills. But it was so nice that, Steve didn't even have to look anything up. It was just shoot from the hip and had the answers. Because he's a special district's attorney.
is there
I wanna-
any way that we can submit a letter to the firm asking to be represented, since we're already in contract with them right now, that somebody else represent us in the meantime while we find another attorney? Is that possible? That we request that this gentleman no longer, deal with us since he's ghosting us anyway?
but what, Barb?
I don't think she heard it.
Sorry.
Does it have to go out to a bid, or it seemed like everybody in this room was appreciative of Steve Gross? So does it have to go out to bid? Or can the board, with the board approval, can the GM talk to Steve Gross and see if he would like to come back as the attorney for the district?
We need to, if I may, we need to make sure we can do that.
Right,
As a government agency,
right.
everything has to be put out,
Well, let me ask Ann from the.
That's what I was just thinking, just, let's get, if, again, and I'm talking about myself here.
No, it's fine.
If we can do it that way, and it seems like the board, we've had them for so long, then we can make a shortcut here instead of going through all this. Because my position is, we gotta make sure we follow laws that everybody's gonna, you never know what's gonna happen.
Right.
And we get a big lawsuit, we're hurting.
So do we need direction or a motion?
No, I think if just direction, and from what Felix says, I'll get a hold of Ann, find out if we can do that, and then if we can, then I'll try to bring back a contract if he's willing to next board meeting for us to review. Or for the board to review.
We're gonna make it shorter than that, if I may.
Okay, so
Why can't we, and I'm asking you guys, why can't we make a motion that if she goes to the,
SDR.
the other, yeah. And they say, yeah, you can do it that way. Give her the permission right now, go ahead and do it. It's not breaking the law. There's no problem. if he does that and we agree right now, we support her in that decision. Do you guys like that?
Yes, I do.
No, wait a month,
Right.
you know?
No, we don't want to do
And
that.
then
We
you,
don't
and then
want
you,
that kind of time.
no, we don't, not when it comes to the law,
No.
not when it comes to the law, you don't mess around.
I think that we need to vote on the fact that we want another attorney by the board, okay, that way we
I like that.
cancel out the attorney we have. We have to be legal in that part. Okay, so we cancel this attorney out and we put the feelers out there, whether we can do it like Felix is saying, okay? Or if we have to put it out on a bid type of situation, okay, whichever way we have to go. And Sandy will find out from the SCRMA attorney to make it legal. And then we can offer it to Mr. Gross if he's interested and have some type of contract with him. And we could maybe approve it at the next month's meeting.
I don't think we have
Would
to
that
wait.
be, I mean,
I like part of it, but I would like to do, you know, what John just said, but once she gets the answer that, oh, you don't have to, then we, at part of the motion, will say, we don't have to do it that way. It sounds like we are looking towards Mr. Gross. So let her make the decision, get it done in 2 days, if we can do it. You know, there's one thing I've learned, you don't hesitate or you can die. So that's the way, put that little part of the motion. That's the way I would
You wanna
like to address it.
amend them, amend the motion.
Amendment to the motion? Thank you.
Amendment to
I
the
thought nobody
motion.
knew that. Yeah, if we put an amendment to the motion, we're good to go.
Okay, okay.
I have a second.
Second,
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Hurst. All those in favor of this motion, say aye.
Please on that.
We got four ayes, correct, Mr. Harris?
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
No nays. I think, and thank you. I mean, it's a hard decision, you know, because you're talking about somebody that keeps us on the straight and narrow.
the only reason I'm going for this is.
And so we have to, you know,
Exactly.
and when
That's the only
if our
reason.
general manager calls, I don't care if it's Mr. Gross or who it is, and they can't give you the answer and they don't want to find the answer and they don't want to get back to you or just shine you on, we don't need him either, whoever it is. It doesn't matter who it is.
Well, and especially he got rude to her.
Yeah,
What?
oh, yeah. Well, it was,
Yeah.
For you?
yeah,
No, that
Sandy.
was the part of the
Sandy.
email that
Sandy.
said that he doesn't do
Email,
rate
we never got
studies.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought he did something wrong.
No, no.
To me, that's still.
It would be.
I'm not a violent
classified,
man.
I want to thank the board for moving forward on this attorney issue. Thank you. We have a GM report.
So, on our education, I think Felix and Eula are the only two that you get. I haven't seen your ethics or your new sexual harassment.
I haven't started yet.
So you and Eula are the two. Lee, I know, did his ethics, and I think was working on his sexual harassment. And Sherry finished both hers and Johnny finished both his. So if we can get you and Eula to get those two classes. And if you need help, Brianna knows how to get on the CS3 website. She downloaded for Johnny and he watched it right on his phone. I listened to it on his phone and then answered and got his certificate.
And this is mandatory training?
It is every 2 years. And you had it 2 years ago.
Damn, what that fast?
Seemed like yesterday, huh, Felix?
So,
I'm leaving for,
When are you going?
1st of May.
okay, so there's a couple weeks left in April if you wanna come in and
The
Brianna can
15th
set
of
you up
April.
and you can do it before you leave.
I've been working on
Today's
putting the beer together.
tax
I'm
day.
taking my.
It's
Yeah.
2 hours.
Huh?
It's 2 hours and 10 questions that you need to get 100%. It's very easy. It's the same sexual
If
harassment.
I come in,
database.
if I come in before you guys go home on Friday, can I, then it doesn't matter, right? You can do it anytime you want. So if I can do it on the weekend or something this weekend, I'll give it a shot but I'll have the information to get on and then as soon as I get some free time. Okay, I'll give them my best shot.
Okay, we'll work with you and Eula. So we have, Rob Tucker is no longer, he's retired from, La Junta. And so Kirsten and a young lady, Nikki, came out on the 8th and met with Royce and I and Ken Mallory and was very pleased. Walked through our site, felt very comfortable. They said they should be out like every 2 years. They haven't been out. It's been 4 years since they've been out. It went really well. Was very impressed with our setup and how things were done. And Kirsten actually was big in Nevada. She was an agent in Nevada before. I do, it's on my email. But she's an engineer and actually, Ken Mallory, who does a lot of sites, was very impressed with her knowledge. Nikki was just more of an intern taking pictures and stuff, but, everything went really well with that. We've already talked to our faces were blue in the face on the compensation and longevity, and I'll bring that back at the next board meeting so we can have a workshop on that. There's no reason to worry about that. Barbara's got lots of good things to talk about from the fire auxiliary. Her and Anula and a group have been meeting.
Yeah, we've had 2 meetings. The first one, we went through what was given to us, what was left behind by the previous auxiliary were like 2 different sets of policies that didn't necessarily coincide. So our first meeting, we went through the policies and did a vote on how we wanted it worded, and it's been typed up. We're gonna finalize that at the next meeting. This last meeting, I presented to the auxiliary what I found out about our banking. Plymouth Sierra, or not Plymouth Sierra, no,
Sierra Central.
Sierra Central. I was gonna go electrical on us. Sierra Central is going to start charging us a fee for our bank account that has been there with them forever. Doesn't matter what our balance would be. Plymouth Bank.
Class and Federal Credit Union.
Well, Plymouth Bank would charge us if we had an excess of 2,500 in our account, and right now we're at about 1,700. So I contacted the Lassen Federal Credit Union. We put $25 in a savings account, and it doesn't matter what our balance is, we will not have any fees, monthly fees. So tomorrow, God willing, and everybody's able to, we're gonna go, Grover he's the only one that's a signature on that account right now at Sierra Central, and he's gonna go with us. We're gonna meet up there and we will close that account and open the other account. In the event that not everyone that needs to sign, Sandy and I talked about it. I get guidance from this lady. What we'll do is we'll get a certified check for the amount. We'll close that account. And then when those people that can sign on it, which is our little board, then we will all go together and open it at the federal, Lassen Federal. And if we do that, I have permission from Sandy to bring that certified check here and put it in the safe so that I'm not in control of it.
Sounds good to me.
Okay, so, and.
Oh, you're not gonna double it down into the casino? Come on.
You know, if I were a gambler, it might be a consideration.
You would have made a lot of money the second
I'll
day.
donate it.
when the tariff started.
Yes, and I don't want to go, I have no desire to go to prison. I mean, yeah. Just not it.
When I go, it's a donation.
Oh, so, and I could have brought out the newsletter that I had. We advertised again in our newsletter for the fire, volunteer fire department, and also for the auxiliary. We are going to down here, Mike's church is going to have the Easter egg hunt on Saturday, and we're going to be present there. We won't have our t-shirts yet, but we will be present there and looking for any volunteers that may want to join the auxiliary. So other than that, we're good.
Got a
Yeah.
question, basically something I want to say. You know, the building, the VFW building's empty again. You know, they have bingo and all that stuff. They used to have all that. That's a good fundraiser. They were packed. So here's my question, because I'm believing this.
Yes,
You see who's has the authority now, okay? Because Trish is gone.
right.
She's on the base. So one, there would be somebody looking over the building. That's number one. That's a good reason, okay? You keep leaving it too much, these gangsters out here are gonna break in that stuff, okay? That's one, but it's the idea you have a place to do fundraisers. And bingo once a month or whatever you guys decide, because, you know, I used to help out there. A lot of them, they come in and said, when are you gonna do bingo again? When are you gonna do bingo again? You know?
That's something I will talk to our membership about. My concern there would be the amount of upkeep, financial upkeep. Because if you have that building, then you have electricity and you have water and sewer.
It's true.
Right.
You'd have expense.
But they're gonna have it anyway, okay? So the original, whoever is in charge of the key, you know, it's maybe you can negotiate something.
Okay,
You know?
I'll approach the board with it and ask them what they. It's a good idea. So,
Right now, we're doing the Salvation Army's doing the food. So
Yeah, but they're not paying anything. They're just volunteering.
they're trying to get the building,
Yes.
Felix.
they're working on.
They're working on taking the building over.
And,
didn't know that.
That is,
So they're gonna make a church down here too?
no,
huh?
no, the Salvation.
Salvation
For food
Army.
distribution.
Yeah.
So,
Salvation Army out of Susanville.
Salvation Army is a church.
Well,
That's the
yeah.
church we used to go to. For the
Yeah.
Salvation Army.
Oh,
Well, usually the Salvation Army is the bell ringers.
They have a church.
charity, yeah.
They're, because I grew up Catholic. They have officers insignias. That's when they say, I was a priest or a minister. Well, they're, whatever rank they have is their position in the church part.
I don't think that's their intent. I volunteered down here this last week, yesterday. And spoke to the lady, and their intent is just to do the food pantry along with what Mike does down at his church. We also were gonna get together a list of things through the community of people that are disabled or unable, have no transportation to come and fix food boxes for themselves, that we would actually put together boxes, and unfortunately, I volunteered that I would deliver them. So.
Welcome.
You're a good soul.
I heard so.
It never stops. Once you get into it, it never stops.
Why didn't you tell me that like a couple of months
But
ago?
I enjoy it. I'm retired.
I was.
Yeah, Barbara and I both volunteered down there yesterday, and it went well. The only thing was to say, we're afraid to give out extra food, so we ended up with a lot left over. And I seen complaints on Facebook, well, it's almost worth my gas money to go out there to get one item.
And that's gonna change. They
Yeah.
had no idea
Yeah.
how many people would
Right.
be there.
Right.
So that I talked to the lady and she said that
And Phil,
they will increase what's the amount that they give out.
right,
And they expected a greater number of people to show up, unless, like she said, maybe next time there will be more. Because people were hesitant about showing up. So we'll see.
oh, and I don't think the word was totally to everybody yet, once
No,
it's
it
out
wasn't.
there.
I saw blips in social media that was inconsistent.
Yeah.
I only found out about from Ingram like 3 days ago, and I reposted it, but then I don't think hardly any people saw it.
It's in our newsletter. I put the dates. It will be it's weird. It's the Monday after the second and fourth Friday of each month. I don't know
Why
why.
that's.
And that's why
confusing.
I text Ingram, I go, do you realize that's Memorial Day on the 26th? Well, so they were gonna do it, and I said, well, I'll be at the lake catching fish. And he puts back, he goes, oh, no. Because he goes fishing with me usually on Memorial Weekend, all of a sudden it clicked, oh, that's opening weekend, oh no. Anything else, Sandy and Barbara?
No, I just, again, I'll be, on vacation April 22nd through May 6th. Royce and Kim will handle the plant. Brianna and Barbara will be here in the office. And I've added to my T-Mobile plan, an additional $50 for the month, so that hopefully I can get messages and phone calls, while I'm gone. So, they're telling me I can, if not,
What boat you going on?
I'm not.
And
I'm
you said that the first thing you gotta pay for, you
Europe.
flying and train, so we'll see how that all goes.
gonna go to Russia?
No, sir.
Yeah.
No, sir.
Uh,
Anyway, so everything, and Barbara and Brianna are both on my Facebook, so they were saying that a lot of times when you travel overseas that you can do FaceTime or Facebook messaging, so I said, well, I don't like to practice having, my employees on my Facebook or back and forth so that I'm not, they don't feel like I'm looking over their shoulder and checking on them 24/7. No, I don't, and I miss a lot of Brianna's posts, so that's okay. So, but at least I have that option while I'm gone if I need to, or if they get a hold of me, they can, if Royce needs to get a hold of me. But I feel like, Ken and Royce are in good hands, and the girls in the office, the ladies in the office will take care of everything.
What country?
Norway, Rome, and Venice, Italy.
Norway. That's a place I'd like to go to, Norway.
My husband's Norwegian, so my daughter and my husband has been there, so we're going to Oslo, flying into Oslo, and then there, so.
That was a prison camp my father-in-law was in.
There's a lot of, a lot of history and a lot of things, so.
Yeah, the Nazis had, and when I was young, we called it the Baltic, I think it was the Baltic countries, Norway, Sweden. It's been a long time ago. And that's one of the first places the Nazis went into because of the availability of the waterways.
Yeah, it's some loves,
Okay,
Anyway, have fun.
yeah, have fun is right. Okay,
Stay away
director,
from that.
director's
the other part.
updates, Mr. Harris, you have something for director's update?
No, I don't. Thank you so much, sir.
Okay, Kessler?
I leave tomorrow and I won't be back till the 26th, but I'm available.
Go on vacation, how nice.
It's not really vacation, but I won't get into the details. Anyway, yeah, I'll be available by email, phone. Sorry if I'm delayed response on emails because I don't have that one open until I get off of work and I'm like 3 hours, they send it to me and I'm like, oh, I did see that. But I'm always available. It doesn't matter regardless of where I'm at, so.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Same with me, I'm leaving. It'll be either 2 to 3 weeks, I'll be gone
Where you gonna go?
to the coast.
Okay, but I love the coast. Okay,
North or south?
I'm Mendocino, Fort Bragg,
Oh, okay.
Gahala.
Oh, yeah.
We found a new campsite.
Nice.
It's like it's in a cove
Mhm.
and it's like
Oh, nice.
maybe 100 feet to the beach and everything.
Oh, wow.
So Felix, while you're there, because I read a thing through the Pluma Sierra and El Mud thing. They now have, and it's up Oregon coast, wheelchairs that have the cat tracks on them.
Really?
You can rent. So if you see a place up there, take a picture of it.
I will.
because
I've seen them on Facebook.
My mom will be 85 and it's a blessing she's still here, so I was trying to plan
Yeah, I'll look around.
a trip. If I could get her out
That's
there
cool.
in a wheelchair on the beach since she can't walk it, it would be.
Amazing.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Amazing. Good.
So- if you see it, take a picture, because that's what they said,
I will
that's
do
where
that.
they started, was up there.
Yeah,
So, anyhow,
Pretty
thank you. Enjoy the coast, take pictures so we can see them. I always love the
the
coast.
only place I got left is I went to Santa Barbara down. Now, I've been there as a youngin', but I haven't done it since I've been a wanna do it. And that's, hopefully this year, we're gonna do the bottom half.
Are you doing the motorcycle?
Yeah. It's fun to do.
I was gonna.
But I also got, I bought a, RV,
Oh, okay, yeah, nice.
at our age, we're gonna have facilities,
That's right. You are absolutely.
no more army stuff.
Good.
Okay, I wanna reiterate to everybody that the Easter Festival, as we call it, is gonna be at the ball fields at 11 o'clock on Saturday. And there's no money involved from anybody that participates. My wife and I and 3 other people, we filled 2,000 plastic eggs with candy. You know, like 4 great big eggs that they had with stuffed animals and stuff in it. And my son, which is Mike, he put together a brand new charcoal barbecue. It's as big as this desk here, this high, and a thing you can raise up and down the level on it. It's got even got a little chimney on top of it. It's really cool. And it's got a drawer in the bottom where you can pull it out and dump all the ashes out of it. It's really, really pretty nice. And put together a little 4-wheel drive little quad with battery powered for kids. Brand new, everything's brand new. And then we got a bicycle for the kids. There's just a lot of stuff out there. And there's gonna be fun for everybody. Like, you know, now Barbara's gonna be there, but the Doyle,
Fire department.
yeah, well, you know, I mean, that with the Doyle senior citizens are going to have cookies and brownies. They're all free. Everything's free out there. And that's about all I know on that part. Except I know it costs $600 to rent 2 toilets for 2 days to have it sit there, which is pretty expensive.
Yeah.
And the Doyle Church over with Jesse, it's the school. He's a minister over there. He put in $2,000
Whoa.
on this. And the church here put in $4,000. Plus now it's gonna be 600 more for the toilets. And they didn't anticipate it to be that much.
Is that also for Doyle?
If
they wanna come?
Everybody.
Anybody?
They went up to
Very nice.
Susanville when we were doing eggs. There was all these people there to help. I thought, geez, they got plenty of help, you know? And all of a sudden, my grandkids are all gone. Everybody's gone. They're getting in the cars. Where are they going? Well, we're going to Susanville to pass out flyers. They went to every business in town passing out flyers and stuff promoting this. So,
Oh,
Weren't they putting it on the swap shop also?
yeah, Enosh put it on Swap Shop. And Enosh right now is in Salem, Oregon, getting his certificate to be a full-fledged minister. We should have it by
Ordained minister.
by Friday or so. But now, the other thing coming up, being how it's gonna be May when we meet, the 31st of May, I don't know what exact time, is going to be the car show. So Felix, shine that baby up, put it in there. Motorcycles are welcome.
Yeah, we're putting ours in.
right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you can't just be one Harley.
No.
You can have a Harley in extra wheels too.
When is this?
The 31st
May.
of May.
May.
So after
You'll
our
be back
board
then.
meeting,
Huh?
after our board meeting,
Yeah.
so you should be back.
No, I'll be back for them, but trying enough, we're gonna do another one.
Yeah.
Good.
Because on the coast, all the coasts I've been to, the most beautiful one I saw was in Washington. Everything is bright green. I mean, it's just, you can't imagine, you think well, green, you go down their forests,
That's why it's called Emerald Bank.
wow, it was, I've been there.
I grew up there.
Is that right? Oh, man, it's
Does it rain
beautiful.
there? In Washington is on the
It's a
coast, right?
misnomer.
Oh.
There's a lot of sun. It is a very rainy
Okay.
state, but no more
So
than
when's the best
Oregon.
time to go?
Like, it's right, like, to me, it reminds me of like
Anytime,
right
because I
now.
love rain.
Yeah,
I love rain. I love
Seattle,
snow. So for me, it
it's
doesn't.
yeah,
matter to me.
we got caught in the rainstorms and all we do is put on our rain gear and keep driving,
It was,
you know?
it's beautiful.
It is beautiful. I want, if I could move,
Mount
that's where I
Rainier
would
is my
go.
mountain.
Oh,
Yes, that's my mountain. My mountain. My mountain.
Okay, at 7:02,
Yeah,
call the
let's do it.
board meeting is over. Thank you.
Look at travel, we're travelers now. What's Ricky Nelson's song? I'm a traveling man.
I hadn't been up there in 28 years, and I went home to see.
Thank you, Mr. Harris.
High
Have a
school.
good
Thank
evening.
you all.
Victoria.
Do the same, sir.
If you have an opportunity and you have your passport, go across to
Bye,
Canada,
Teresa.
go to Granville Market.
Okay.